Hello, hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of May 18th through 24th. Okay, I almost forgot there for a second. All right, guys, you know what to do. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and influences of the week. Update on my health. I actually had an upper respiratory infection. It was from, I don't know if I said this last time, it was from acid coming up from my stomach into my sinus area, which is where I have a lot of my damaged cranial nerves as well. It wasn't pretty. I've been down for the count all week. I'm finally, today I would say, I'm feeling better. So it took like a long time. I went to urgent care. They said 5 to 10 days, so I'm right on time. So it was awful. Thanks for I guess being patient with me as I recorded the last week's reading very nasally and not feeling the best. So feeling better, ready to go. Same 3 decks that you guys are used to, all shuffled. By the way, I don't know if I ever mentioned this. I always mention it when it happens during the reading. I have the specific order that I like to go in when it comes to pulling the cards. If I pull out of my quote-unquote order, it just means I'm in the flow, and I never put a card back. Okay, so it means Spirit wants us to see the cards. Spirit is trying to get through a message or something like that. Along those lines. So, it happens sometimes. But like I said, this is an intuitive reading. Okay, so if I was meant to pick up that card twice from 2 cards from one deck in a row, then I was supposed to do that. So. All right, anyway. All right, let's see. Let's just begin. Let's see what we need this week. We need the eternal child, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Okay, so like the innocence of a child, childlike energy, inner child energy, being playful. We like this, so we need to do this week. So go ahead and do that. Okay, go to a carnival. I don't know why that always comes to mind as a child. Go eat cotton candy, okay? Go do something fun. Do something that you used to do as a kid that you thought was fun. Go in the backyard and chase fireflies. You know what? I'm thinking about summer. It's not quite summer yet, even though it's a really beautiful day here, here in New York. But yeah, do something that really gets your inner child going, because we need it, obviously. Action needed. We have sensuality. Oh, okay. So, you guys. So, Spirit is asking us to take action on our sensuality. All right. I think you guys can put 2 and 2 together. We're coming off of inner child activities we need, but we also need adult activities as well. Okay. Put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of saying, Spirit needs you to be a little bit having some fun this week, tapping into your sensual side. Maybe dress a certain way. Maybe stop and actually smell the flowers. There's flowers on this card for a reason. Because sensuality also refers to like your sense of touch and your sense of smell. Flowers really heighten those things, obviously. Maybe start wearing perfume this week or cologne. Get yourself in the mood, get yourself feeling yourself, okay? Feeling sexy, feeling sensual, indulging in some way. Maybe buy yourself flowers or chocolate or something like that. I don't think I have much more to say here, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear here. All right, what do we have issues with? Deep knowing. Okay, so we have issues with inner knowing. So this is the intuitive gift of claircognizant, basically, where we just knowing things. We just be knowing things. So it's just kind of like a deep knowing. So we have an issue with that. So maybe our deep knowing is not coming through. I don't really see this like such an issue because, or maybe it's saying like we're having issues listening to that, or we're having issues with pinpointing that. Like maybe you are having a deep knowing, but like the disconnect is like, I don't know if this actually is it. Because it is the weird intuitive gift where it's like, it doesn't like necessarily come through it comes through like more cognitively than anything, like again, just like an inner knowing. It's like really hard to explain. So I could see that, but I was saying earlier, like, if this is saying like, oh, your deep knowing isn't coming through this week, that's okay. Listen to all the other intuitive gifts that you have. You know, your gut feeling, your feelings, you know, your visions, your, you know, if you get things through visions, through the movie screen in your head, you know, things like that. So in that case, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but something tells me it might be the latter, which is, you know, maybe the deep knowing coming through and you're like very confused about it and it becomes some kind of issue. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what else it could mean? It could mean that it does come through, but it conflicts with something. That could definitely bring an issue for sure. So what does that mean? That means like maybe you had something planned out and your deep knowing comes through and it's like, you know, it's not right for you, and that becomes a big issue. Okay, so that's on the bigger, you know, the major side of things, which it can be for some people. It doesn't feel like it couldn't. So yeah, a deep knowing can come through on maybe a decision that you've already made. Yeah, I could definitely see that being an issue for sure. So a lot of different things could be happening here with this. Challenge. All right, another hurdle. We have magical child in the shadow, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Okay. Very interesting that we got eternal child. Now we have magical child, but this one's in the shadow and it's under challenge. So we are having issues with, it's a little bit different, but we're having issues with depression, disbelief that things will get better, pessimism. So these things are challenging for us this week. I think we got this in the monthly, I'm not sure, but we definitely got the orphan card a lot. I think it was, again, the monthly, or it was like maybe the week that, you know, half the week that was in April going into May. But, you know, this doesn't surprise me because of that. You know, we've seen it before, you know, in the last few weeks or so. So yeah, we're having challenges with those things. So it makes sense why the beginning here, why we might be stalled maybe on these things, but you know, maybe maybe the depression or the pessimism has something to do with suppressing some of these things in the very beginning, our inner child, and then our I don't know if I say that, sensual side of ourselves. Okay, so they might be linked to that. I don't know, just throwing it out there, could be possible. But yeah, we are dealing with a little bit of pessimism, a little bit of depression. And it's going to be challenging this week. Nothing that we can't get through. I know you guys are extremely resilient. So resilient that I can understand how it gets tiring. But you guys got this as usual. What's changing? Ancestors. Okay, I think we've gotten this in the last reading, at least. I think it was in the need section here. But basically what's changing is our ancestors. So this could be like having to do with family just in general. So something within our family dynamic is changing. Maybe how we relate to people that are older than us. So maybe this could be like your relationship with your parents are changing this week. I see it as a positive change. That maybe you are have like a breakthrough with them, or you know, maybe if you had like a tumultuous relationship with them. Maybe you are, in a spiritual sense, praying or connecting with your ancestors more in that way. Or maybe you are actually maybe you're trying to figure out your lineage a little bit more, like trying to find out where you come from, you know, doing like a family tree of some kind, or getting DNA testing or something, you know, along those lines, something, trying to figure out where your roots come from. You know, maybe it's exploring the country that you're from. That could also be changing. That could be linked to that. I don't know, maybe like this week you go back to the country of your origin or something, or at least you're planning it. So something is kind of going around where where you're connecting more to family in some way. Could be people that are older than you or wiser than you. It doesn't have to be like a chronological age. People have done something before you. I mean, this could be breaking like generational not necessarily trauma, but like chains maybe. I know this is a week of like, I see them around this past week at least. NYU graduated, so I see a lot of people on the street, you know, with their cap and gown. You know, maybe some of these people are the first ones in their family to graduate, you know, with a degree or something like that. So this could be linked to that, where you're kind of like breaking patterns within your family, or being the first to do something, or making your ancestors proud. You know, it could be something along those lines. But I see it as all like positive stuff. So I see it as, like I said, a positive thing. Focus on a higher power. Okay, we actually have not gotten this one in a long time. Usually when this pops up, it's telling us that we are disconnected from spirit, source, higher power, something like that. Whatever you call it, God, I don't care what you call it, nature. I had a client a while ago that called God nature. You know, that was the higher being. Totally fine with me. So yeah, you know, whatever works for you guys. So it's saying to focus on that. So focus on your spiritual practices, focus on connecting more to yourself, be more in nature. That could obviously be it. Pray more, meditate more, connect with your ancestors more. Maybe that's what you're doing based on that card. But yeah, some kind of spiritual practice would be, you know, is a good priority this week, and definitely something to focus on. All right, what do we need to reflect on? We have athlete in shadow, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of ability in Thailand. Okay, so I think of the athlete as somebody that goes the distance, that has extreme willpower, that has extreme grit, that has extreme strength, that goes beyond physical limits, that pushes themselves. So it comes in the shadow. So the opposite of that to me is like your maybe lack of willpower, lack of follow through, lack of, you know, maybe not lack of, but limitations of some kind. So maybe reflect on those things, your limitations, again, lack of strength, lack of willpower, how you push through things, your longevity in certain things, in certain ways. Maybe you give up on things pretty easily. So this is definitely asking us to really kind of reflect on that. That's our shadow work, it seems, for the week. Yeah, there's not too much more I can say here, honestly. All right, responsibilities. We have faith. Okay, your responsibilities are to have faith. All right, so there's 2 cards already asking us to really connect to our faith, our inner, you know, guiding light, our higher power, that kind of thing. So yeah, just have faith. Your responsibilities are to connect to faith, but also have faith, for sure. That could be the double meaning here. Have faith that something is going to work out. But that requires connecting to the higher power, right? And putting your trust there on something bigger than you, right? That everything is going to work itself out. So, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense with the challenges, right? We're feeling really down, we're feeling really low, we're feeling really stuck, we're feeling really depressed, we're feeling really pessimistic. So yeah, definitely connecting to a higher power can help. Obviously also, you know, maybe seeing a mental health professional because that spirituality doesn't replace it, can only add to it. So yeah. Money, finances, and career. We've got breathe. Okay, so this is about taking a break, taking a deep breath, maybe a pause, you know, something like that. It's under money, finances, and career. It would be a good week to maybe take a breath, maybe take a day off, maybe not work so hard, maybe take, you know, breaks during the work day. Maybe you haven't been. This is asking you to do so. Maybe if you're searching, you know, you're job searching, maybe this is saying like take a break for a second. You know, breathe, recalibrate, you know, like that kind of thing. You know, take a break from maybe how you make money, or maybe you've been just really overworking in general. Yeah, this is basically saying take a pause. I mean, it makes sense with the 2 energies that came out like right there, you know, in the first row there. Have a little bit more fun. Okay, not, you know, it's not necessarily about work, so that makes sense. This week is not a week to necessarily focus on work, is basically what it's saying. It's focus on play, to be honest. play in very two different ways, but play nonetheless, versus work. So it makes sense that came up there. Surprise. What do we have? A surprise here. Surprise victim in the light, though, prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Okay, so basically a surprise is that you feel more empowered than you usually do, that you're not playing victim. You guys know how I feel about the word. I don't love it, but you're not blaming other people maybe for your shortcomings. Maybe you are feeling a little bit more empowered if you actually are a victim of something, surviving something. But I feel nothing but empowerment coming from here. It's under surprise, and maybe it just, again, surprises yourself that you feel this way about something in particular. I love it. You are not letting anybody kick you around, boss you around, bully you. We've been getting bully energy on and off, not in the last few readings, but this year we've been getting it a lot. So maybe not letting somebody bully you or push you around, maybe standing up for yourself in some way. And it's a surprise moment. You weren't expecting that from yourself. Yeah, I like that. That's a good card to get there in that slot. All right, we have friends. We have abundance. Okay, so in some way, shape, or form, was this here in this slot in the last couple of readings? Maybe, but what it really means is that your friends bring abundance. Definitely a great week to hang out with friends. Guys, you know what I'm getting so far? I know we have 4 more cards left, but so far, Spirit is asking us to be a little bit more in play, even though we might, be feeling pessimistic or depressed, connecting more with Spirit, playing, connecting more with Spirit, hanging out with friends, okay? If you've been meaning to catch up with somebody, this is the week to do it, okay? Because it brings nothing but abundance, and it could be financial abundance, but it could also just be like, abundance of energy. Like, they're going to energize you. You're going to feel better doing it. So I have to say this because we have that, that kind of like depressing energy coming through. Is like, if you don't feel like getting out of bed, or you like, oh God, I don't want to meet up with this person, or I don't feel like, and it's not personal to them or whatever, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to turn out better than you thought. It's going to be lucrative for you. You're going to be feeling more energized if you do so. It's kind of like the gym. Like, you don't want to go to the gym, but you force yourself to go to the gym and then you feel better afterwards. This is what I'm feeling for this. All right, so go hang out with friends. It turns into abundance of some kind. You get what you need. Maybe an abundance of fun. Maybe maybe in some way, shape, or form, you connect with somebody and you make more money doing it. Maybe your friend wants help this week in her business and you help her and she gives you money. Could be something quite literally like that. There's actual money exchange, or you make money hanging out with a friend or something. But yeah, it's just, it feels good in general being with this person or this group or this community or whatever it actually is. So definitely do it, especially if you feel like you don't want to do it. It's basically what Spirit is saying. Like, get out and hang out. All right, romantic connection, come to the edge. Okay, so this is about like ready to do something, maybe closing something up, ready to take the leap on something. So this is on romantic connection. So maybe you're ready for the next step in your relationship. Maybe you're ready for the relationship to come to an end. Maybe you're ready to end something within the relationship. Maybe the way that you guys have been fighting. Maybe you guys are selling your home or moving to a different home. It definitely feels like it could be on that major side. It could be, again, minor, where, maybe you just, the way that you guys have been fighting or coming at each other is just coming to an end. Like, you have been going to therapy and you're ready to try a different way of speaking to each other or something like that. Could be your partner's job is ending, could be, or they're ready to leave their job and take a leap, maybe doing their own business or something. Could be that. But yes, we're ready to kind of like wrap something up and take a leap on something else. Take a chance on something else. Do something differently. So could be, it's a little more neutral, but could be definitely positive. It's so funny. I'm getting like a lot of positive vibes from this, and then we have the that card up there, the magical child, with the kind of not so great energy. But I will say it's under challenge. So basically it's saying it's challenging to feel this way. Like, there's like so many, like, it almost feels like there's like so many like good things happening, and positive things happening, and really like prosperous and abundant things happening. God, I can't speak. And fun things happening, but there's like maybe like an underlying, again, pessimism, depression, but it is challenging because all of these things are happening. That's what it feels like in that way. At least so far. We've got 3 cards left. We've got important, we've got poet, turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. Okay, so this is about trying to speak in an elegant way and then it comes out wrong. Boy, do I know a lot about this in the last year. Gosh, I've been saying like the wrong things. It's just because of the way that like I can't get the words out, or I can't like speak correctly. It's pretty bad. Anyway, even when I do these readings, like I struggle to get the right words out, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, so so basically it's saying about using the wrong language, using the wrong words. So it's important that you don't do that. Okay, so just be extra mindful of your language this week and how you're speaking, how you're speaking to others. You know, if there's something that you want to say or get off your chest, I mean, that's great. I'm always like a proponent and an advocate for speaking your mind. You know, self-expression, we've been getting like a lot of messages around that. I would say this week, maybe bite your tongue a little bit, maybe wait till next week. If there's something important that you want to talk to somebody about or confront somebody about, or talk about something that's like really serious, or maybe some kind of something that's been bothering you, use your own intuition and discernment on this. But, you know, this is saying like, just be careful of the language that you use and the words that you use for sure. Okay, health and wellness. We have, centered. I like this, hurricane centered under health and wellness. So we feel more like we're not on shaky ground. Like centered to me also means like foundation, you know, there's like a storm going on around you, but you're the one that's calm. So there might be like things kind of going on outside of like your scope or what you can control, and you're the centered one, you're the calm one. And I love that, because maybe something happens in your health or your wellness and it kind of is something maybe you can't control, but you center yourself, you know, you have the foundation, you're good to go. I love this. This could also have something to do with all of these, you know, the faith card, the higher power. It's easy to be centered and not bothered, you know, unbothered, I should say, when you have that foundation, when you have that spiritual connection that is, you know, that helps get you centered, because then other things can kind of like happen around you and you don't collapse with those things, right? You can weather the storm, right, a little bit easier. So I love that for this. So you're definitely more centered. So maybe something comes up health and wellness wise that maybe throws you off, but you know, you're centered, so it's all good. That's what it feels like, at least. Overall outcome, we have between worlds. Okay, so basically more towards the end of the week. Here in America, we have Memorial Day weekend is the end of this week. So, maybe that's why we're getting like a lot of these messages of having fun. Yeah, some of you guys might be off of work. Oh, that makes sense with the breathe card as well. Maybe take Friday off too if you guys don't have Friday. You know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Take a 4-day weekend or something. But yeah, you might, in like the weekend, maybe you are celebrating and maybe you feel like you're in between worlds. Like you feel like, I don't know, you feel like you're not your old self, but you're like your new self. Maybe you're like at a party and you're like, oh gosh, I feel like I'm like still in the in-between. Things feel awkward. I feel like I'm not the old person that I was, or that old life, and I'm not exactly the new person with the new life. So it feels a little like there's a little bit of awkwardness this weekend in that way, where you just feel like you're in limbo. You know, maybe you're like in the middle of like a divorce from somebody and somebody has a party from your old life, you know, and you kind of go and like, you know, maybe your ex is there or something and you feel like kind of awkward about it, and it's like you haven't quite moved on to like your new life, maybe with like new friends and like a new community and things like that, but you're still kind of like, you know, again in limbo or just like lingering, you know, in the old. So that definitely could be something like that. It's always an awkward phase. It's kind of like this is for the women out there. If you ever had bangs and you're growing out bangs, you know, it's always like an awkward stage, like kind of like pushing them to the side and, you know, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like, it's not, it doesn't look like your old haircut, but it doesn't look like your new haircut, if that makes sense. I know that's like a silly metaphor, but you could be in between bangs or something. So yeah, guys, like I said, so we finished. So I like this week. Like, I feel like I'm getting like a very positive vibe. I'm getting a very like uplifting vibe. You know, we just might have to, you know, we have, you know, feelings of being pessimistic or depressed or you know, hopeless, you know, those types of feelings. They're going to be challenging for us, but otherwise I feel like things that are happening in our world are definitely positive in that way. Just connect higher power for sure. That should be your focus, obviously. So, all right, guys. Happy Memorial Day weekend, I guess I should say. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.